total number, there's been more deportations.
Not even close.
There's a net growth in, sure, but I mean, so every other country in the OECD has seen an increase from Central America.
They repealed Remain in Mexico.
Yeah.
They repealed Title 42. They're flying
separating
people.
families.
We have brought in 5% of the population of Haiti.
I don't see the issue with that, though. Like, as...
What? Nah, that was crazy.
Let's talk about the border.
Do
you think Kamala Harris did a good job managing the border?
I think the Central America Forward program that contributed to like $5 billion of economic growth in South Central America was like really productive for slowing migrant like movement to the U.S.
So why is it that it's the most open border in American history? 10 million people have come into the interior of this country.
As somebody previously said, there's been more deportations, like total number, there's been more deportations.
Not even close.
There's a net growth in, sure, but I mean, so every other country in the OECD has seen an increase from Central America.
They repealed Remain in Mexico. They repealed Title 42. They're flying
separating
people.
families.
We have brought in 5% of the population of Haiti.
I don't see the issue with that, though. Like, as...
You don't see the issue?
What? Nah, that was crazy. That's one of the worst things that were happening under their presidential reign. The border, it has a whole name. It's called the border crisis. If you go to any American and you say, what are your thoughts on the border crisis? Any American, left-leaning, well, not any, because we have some crazy people. Majority of regular thinking Americans, whether they lean left or right, and say, what are your opinions on a border crisis? Majority have very conservative opinions. I'm not going to lie. Majority of people who think there's a border crisis. So the fact that you're just going to sit here and pretend like you don't think it's a big deal, it's insane. It's genuinely insane. I don't even know. I can't even justify that. I'm not even going to lie. I usually try to be objective, but I can't with that.
Allowing immigrants into our country, I mean, is that not the foundation of America?
These are illegal immigrants that
people
cut in
seeking
line.
refuge for the best country in the world. Isn't that the whole point of your like organization?
Well,
the U.S. is the best country in the world. Shouldn't we be obligated to like help people that are suffering?
Yes, America is the best country. Therefore, its citizens should come first, not foreigners.
So
we have an obligation to our own people.
So the pathway to citizenship should become easier. Then.
No, we should deport them all back to their homeland.
We should deport them all back to their homeland.
All
the immigrants, okay.
Well,
we shouldn't
all
make it
the illegal
for
foreigners, yes.
Okay,
sure. Hold on,
which is what Biden's been doing. They've been deporting people. Let some in. Sure.
You are,
okay.
It's completely wrong. First of all, just to give you an idea, in Springfield, Ohio, in one town, English as a second language speakers in one high school went from 250 to 1,500 kids in 2 years. These communities are being overrun. Go down to Aurora, Colorado, right down the street here. Entire apartment complexes are now being run by Venezuelan gangs. Not to mention every day an American citizen is being killed. From Laken Riley to Rachel Morin to 11-year-olds that are being killed in DUI accidents. And so this is 100% on the Harris-Biden regime because they have a perspective similar to you. They think America is just an open season for the rest of the world to come in here. We have a different belief. We have a belief that our founding fathers had, which is if your government does not fulfill its obligation to its own people first, its government is not legitimate. And that's what's happening right now. Our government is now providing taxpayer-funded cell phones, hotel rooms, benefits, airplane rides, cash, for foreigners, but not for Americans. If you guys as an American citizen want a free cell phone, they'll laugh at you. As a foreigner for Venezuelan, you get one on the southern border. You get a flight to any city that you want. You get a luxury hotel in New York City. You get taxpayer-funded healthcare. That is the inversion. That is elevating.
I'm more shocked with the luxury hotel in New York City. Do y'all know how expensive a luxury hotel in New York City is? New York City is like the most expensive city in the country. I think Los Angeles and New York City are up there. So a luxury hotel in New York City? Nah, that's crazy. That's a crazy thing to get. Wow, that's more shocking than any other thing he just said. Oh my goodness.
Somebody from a distant land over our own people. When our own kids can't afford homes, when our own people are seeing an increase in crime, homelessness, and we have over 50,000 homeless vets in this country. It's a breakdown of the social contract.
Wait, so the government should support veterans, support
Yes.
citizens more? We should do... So we should spend more on our people with better health care, better social programs. That's literally what you just said.
we should spend it on veterans and not on foreigners.
Sure, and American
Yes.
citizens with like cheaper health care. That's what you just said.
Well, hold on. You're
Free
trying to,
phones, airplane rides, public transit.
I
That
don't
sounds
support-
great for Americans.
No, it sounds terrible, actually.
For Americans?
Yes, government should not be giving free phones to anybody, okay?
You said
Because-
that the citizens should come first in those programs
Yes,
first.
you know how they should come first? By not
By
having
nothing.
to compete against a foreigner for your job.
But I don't think that's the case, though, when most, like,
How about this? If your own perspective was correct, would you feel comfortable going in Uber right now to Aurora, Colorado, and going to those 3 apartment complexes?
I mean, according to the Aurora police, I probably would. They say the apartments complexes are not overrun.
You should get in the car and go, go talk to anybody here and go knock on the door, and they'll extort you for cash, because we're a country that is open for looting right now. For the entire world, over 118 countries have entered the southern border. That we know of, at least 99 people on the terrorist watch list have come across the southern border. We're talking about people from Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, from Iran, people from Pakistan that are coming here and mean harm to the interior of the United States. Not to mention, we're breaking down what it means to be a citizen. A citizen should be put first above anybody else. If a government does not do that, then the government is not fulfilling its basic obligation. And the number one obligation is to make sure that its people can have a pathway to a better life and a good life. Not a variety of free stuff, but not have to compete with somebody from Brazil for a home. Not have
Sure.
but not sure. The way that we're not doing that is that we're importing the third world, and we're quickly becoming the third world.
So why don't we use our resources to improve the third world so they're not coming here rather than
Because
just spending
that's
the same
not the
amount
role
of money?
of the American government to go.
So we should spend the same amount of money on a big old wall in isolationist America.
Yes, you think we should be concerned about Central American politics. I don't care.
Yeah.
I care about our own people.
So then you
Secure
don't
the border
care
and-
about those people that are
Hold
sex
on.
trafficking
You know why?
children.
What he's saying is that he puts Americans first. That's the whole basis of what Charlie Kirk is saying. I think the student is just slightly confused. Obviously, he's a little confused. He's trying to imply like, well, you don't care about other people. Charlie Kirk's whole argument is that we have people in America who are struggling. We have people in America who can't even get a luxury hotel in New York. I can't even imagine getting a luxury hotel in New York City right now. Like, that was insane to me when I heard it. Who are getting free flights to cities, who don't have phones because they can't afford it, who are living on the streets. We have an entire depression right now. I'm not going to say depression. Recession right now. Inflation is at some of the highest it's ever been. Groceries almost 3 times. The housing market is up 47% in the past 4 years. People can't even get a job. The job market is so bad. This is not a regular state of the economy right now. People are struggling. And then on top of that, you have illegal immigrants. They're not even legal. They're illegally entering the country and they're getting benefits. That's what Charlie Kirk is saying. He's saying that it's just completely unfair. And it is unfair. I'm not going to lie. It would be different if they were legally entering the country and they were getting these benefits. That would be a completely different discussion. But you have people who are breaking the law and getting rewarded for it. They are literally breaking the law. It's called illegal immigration. And they are literally getting rewarded for it. So that's the whole basis of his argument, if you don't understand.
Hold on, of course I care about it.
You say you don't want to spend the money to make that change happen.
Number one, we've spent hundreds of billions of dollars. It doesn't do any good.
That's not true.
Number two, it is not the role of the American government to solve the problems of Panama, El Salvador, and Honduras when our own citizens are suffering and are crying out for help.
So why has the billions of dollars spent on Central American aid over the last 4 years
We shouldn't
been
have
effective
spent-
at slowing the
hasn't-
rates of sex trafficking in Central America?
It hasn't slowed anything.
No, it's been effective.
It hasn't affected anything.
It
What you're
literally
talking about
has.
is bribing these governments, where they then go give it to cartel leaders and say, hey, this month send 20,000 people instead of 40,000
That's
people.
not what that money's going towards. It's
Yeah.
going towards NGOs and
No,
bottom-up stabilization.
You think NGOs
No.
spend the money correctly?
Okay, not
Man,
all
you are
NGOs,
so
obviously,
naive.
sure.
By the way, more people are crossing the Darien Gap than ever before. Not to mention, they're coming across on the CBP One app across the border into the interior of the United States in every single state. And this is why voters are ranking immigration near the top of all of their concerns. Because outside the propaganda, they're walking the streets like in Springfield, Ohio, and they see Haitians like taking ducks and eating cats. Like, you cannot continue to have a country if you import an unfamiliar third world this quickly into America.
So now there should be a path to immigration.
No, we should have no immigrants in this country right now.
No immigrants
None.
in the country.
We need a total, complete shutdown of immigration in this country until every single Gen Z person can afford a home and can get their act together and be able to afford the American dream.
So what's your path to Gen Z getting homes? Is it just kicking all brown people out?
Not brown people. I think we should.
Immigrants, yeah.
We should. Anyone that's here illegally should be deported back to their country of homeland. By the way, it's a moral position.
So H-1B visas that like generate and stimulate the economy, kick those out.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. H-1B.
And what Charlie Kirk is saying, whether or not you disagree with deportation or whatever, what he's saying does have a premise, because Gen Z are the newest adults right now. They're young. They're in their early 20s. Some are still teenagers. Some are mid 20s, so on and so forth. The housing market is so bad that we do have people who literally cannot afford homes. And it's just kind of ironic, or not ironic. It's kind of a coincidence that all of this is happening during the peak of illegal, I'm going to emphasize that more, illegal immigration. It's just really strange how this is all happening at once. So I do understand why he would say that. And if a student disagrees with the deportation, I would say pose an argument why you disagree with it. He brought up the housing market. Maybe you could have an argument on why immigration doesn't affect the housing market. Whether or not that's true or false, I don't know. But that would be some type of argument I could think of.
Well, you're studying anything. Anybody? Computer engineering? You guys have to compete against a foreigner for a job. That's wrong. American. Well, I actually care about the country more than the free market.
So colleges should better prepare students and better utilize government resources.
Well, college is a scam, but yes, we did that earlier.
For computer science, they shouldn't go to college.
Well, actually, you don't need to go to college for computer science.
You don't need to go to college for computer science?
You could do a coding class in a couple months.
You could do a coding class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alphabet is hiring right now.
You could get a job at Alphabet, Google,
yes,
for taking a C++ class?
Correct, yes.
Yes.
They're hiring coders after a 60-day coding class without having to go to Seaboulder and learn about North African lesbian poetry, whatever they teach.
Yeah.
So, but to answer your question, a country that ceases to secure its own sovereignty and does not think, I care more about my own people than the foreigners, ceases to be a country. You're a colony and you're something else. And we are seeing our generosity be taken advantage of. I am all for American charities going down to Panama and helping out. I'm all for people giving to charity. But when you start to see the government give preference and priority to not even its own taxpayers, that's why you get the rise of Trump.
So we should reallocate U.S. spending towards things that are actually effective for people in and outside of our borders.
Well,
so then we don't have people coming into our borders, and then we can help our people.
Well, no, if they come to the border and the border is closed and you say, hasta la vista, go back to Nicaragua.
Or we spend in Central America, they don't have to come to the U.S.
No, what is up with this student and spending in other countries? What does he just not understand what Charlie Kirk is saying? There's an economic crisis in America today. Like, you're literally living in it. Do you just not realize it? Is your life so good that you can't even fathom Americans struggling right now? That's kind of the impression I'm getting. Because you genuinely can't comprehend that there's a housing market recession right now. That there's an inflation recession right now. You just don't understand this? Wow, it's shocking to me. But anyways, if you have any more suggestions, comment down below. It's LFR Jojo, and I'll see you in the next video.